Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Charles Clough again from the Church of Truth Center for Awakening Consciousness, and have some God things I'm looking forward to sharing with you again this evening. And hopefully just add some ways that you think about some of the things that are in our traditional way of thinking and looking at God. Let me start with the prayer. Gracious God, please leapfrog over the distances so those listening hear this as if we are all together in our peaceful sanctuary. Well, the coronavirus has taken off again. Just when we had hoped it had turned for the better, the opposite was happening. How long will this go on? Who knows? Does this remind us of ourselves when we don't keep on the straight path where we know we should be going and want to be going all the time? Why do we have moods and swings in our feelings like this virus keeps going back and forth having? Why can't we keep feeling the same way all the time when we are feeling good? We would not want to feel the same way all the time when feeling badly, but the other way around is appealing, always feeling good all the time. Well, what keeps this from happening? The difficulty in answering this is because there is more than one reason. There are multiple reasons, many of which are complicated, not easy to pin down. It is easy to speak platitudes at this juncture, but they don't get it done. Does the Spirit expect us to have these inconsistencies? I'm afraid so. The Spirit knows us. So what kind of a challenge does the Spirit within have for us to be up all the time? More than that, if how we are inside is always balanced and stable, as New Thought proposes, why is that not how we show up? New Thought sees us in the higher part of ourselves, always connected to God in a perfect way. What do we unhappily do? We leave that higher part of ourselves by getting tangled up in the lesser issues of everyday living. To our spiritual presence, our default is calmness, relaxedness, and peace. We have faith that all is God arranged as it should be. Yet often when we show up in life, we seem to be on the edge of storms. When river rafting, you have to know where the currents are. My father rafted the Colorado River. The person leading the group knew exactly where to direct the rafts. There were a number of people who have died who did not know where to find those safe places. Our default is our God connection, but it seems so easy for the currents to pull us away from this consciousness. One time when swimming, I got caught in a very strong current that kept pulling me out deeper into the ocean. I followed the advice of experienced people and swam sideways until I could get out of the strong currents that were pulling me out. It worked. Guess where those safe currents are for us? Meditation and prayer. Prayer and meditation aren't just nice things to do. They are the way we attune into and keep attuned to the higher part of ourselves, the part that's not visible. Because we don't see that higher level with our physical eyes, it seems easy to forget, ignore, or feel it's not necessarily important to pray or meditate. Too many times we procrastinate about entering into these experiences. The opposite is what we need to do. We need to be motivated to be consistent with those private times with God. That's what meditation and prayer really are. Just times of God's Spirit consciousness. Being alone inside is where we find out we're really not alone. How many times have we been worried about things that never happened? How many times afterward did we realize God had us covered all the time? We had just lost sight of it. We go through all sorts of negativity when forgetting the overall presence of God's Spirit, presence within. If in conversation and openness to our spiritual self, it is easier to stay on track. Our continued awareness of the God presence within is our anchor. It is the buoy we want to always be consciously attached to. We are never separated in actuality, just by awareness. God has never moved from the closest we have ever felt in spirit connection. It is our own consciousness that has us thinking the relationship has changed. It hasn't. Prayer and meditation draw us back into an experience of closeness with God like metal to a magnet. When we relax in those practices, it is easier to connect with God closeness. Relaxed techniques of all kinds fit into the calming down to experience God opportunities. Venues from yoga to monasteries and everything in between provide a place for the one open to God to make that connection. Every form of relaxing and meditation is the Spirit's way of bringing calm into our present. Whenever we are upset, disorganized inside, frustrated, out of control, we have slipped away from the calm dock of spiritual surety. One of the main reasons for drowning in the ocean is not understanding the currents and thus not realizing they or the undertow do pull us out into the currents of unsafe waters. When we feel snarly in mood and attitude, the Spirit will attempt to bring our attention to that emotional state and direct us to where we again feel okay. There are some things we can do to help. When we are in the middle of a bad time, how can we think differently to get out of our present mind occupation? Well, first, we can consciously think of something else. Talk out loud about something else. Verbally acknowledge a beautiful day or comment on another thing. Get into a discussion with someone not related to the things bothering us. That pulls our minds away where we can start to feel better and uplift. Second, we can verbalize a positive. This is what affirmations are for. Stating truths, even to the point of memorization. Repeating these positives over and over seems to help. This is a good practice to find some statement that really connects you to God awareness and memorize it so that it's easy for you to go to it when you start to move toward a negative mood or feeling. Thirdly, if we acknowledge in God's consciousness exactly how we were feeling, in other words, we don't act when we talk to God like there's nothing wrong because the Spirit knows exactly what's going on. It is a real catharsis and a great feeling to know we don't have to hide anything at all from God about how we feel. God is never surprised about anything. So the worst feelings we have, the most negative thoughts, all of these things we need to bring straight out before God and he picks them up and he accepts them and accepts us and loves us. At these times, being in the safety of conscious God presence brings faith and hope into whatever situation we are in. We feel often the back and forth of this virus, and it's not too far off from the back and forth we feel ourselves sometimes, getting better than worse, like a wave going in and out, back and forth. Those back and forth experiences may be our normal for a while. But if so, we will get accustomed to it and realize that no matter what we feel, there's the stability of God's presence. Even though we may experience vacillation like that within ourselves, the bouncing between the perfect default of calm and the trust in the Spirit and the surface struggles of our making, through all that, God's closeness is always stronger. No matter how much we're in the middle of the waves and the storm, there's one much stronger than the storm and much stronger than our ability to struggle and fight the waters that might be really in turmoil at the time. And that strongness is God's presence, God's Spirit in us. How thankful we are that that Spirit within keeps bringing us back to the perfect default of love, forgiveness, and the acceptance we really are in our connection to God inside. What a good thing it is to be aware of and to live in. In this time of so much uncertainty, may you feel the strong presence of God rock solid inside of you, so that no matter what happens, you know you're okay. That is the feeling the Spirit will grant us as we relax and stay open to God within. And so it is.